Hi, and welcome to a new video for the Digital Darkroom series. And this video is going to be looking at using the HSL panel within Lightroom's Develop module for editing your colors. In the previous videos, we have just been looking at really editing the light and editing the brightness and the contrast and those sort of tones. We've had a little bit of color with curves and a little bit of color with the vibrance and the saturation, but nothing really has been, we haven't really been looking too much at controlling colors in themselves. And this is really where the HSL panel comes from. Comes into play. So this was the picture with the basic adjustments and a little bit a quick curve in here. And now here we have the HSL panel. Now in the HSL panel, you actually have HSL, you have color, and you have black and white. And the black and white we will then look at later. But within the HSL, basically everything which is in HSL is also in color. It's just the color separates it individually between each color, and HSL separates the three different adjustments in three different options. But it's basically the same. You can click all, and you can have like a huge panel like this if you wish. I generally just stick to switching between these three. I don't really use the color that often. I use the black and white a lot when I do black and white adjustments. But just for color editing, this is what I generally use. I think we need to change this maybe. I don't think this is. We're in the computer game again. Can we get all the 50s? Oh, close 48. Off on one. Yeah, I knew there was something off in this picture. You hear that's going to go far too cold. Okay, we just add a little bit warmth back in. That looks better. Sorry about that. So in the HSL panel, it's separated into three sections. One is hue, one is saturation, and one is luminance. Now saturation is the strength of the color. So if we have our little squirrel friend here, and we have orange, and we pull the orange up here, all the orange tones are going to be more intense, in built intensity. But you can also minus it down and remove all orange tones from that. And that's basically what the saturation does. It adds the intensity and it removes the intensity of the colors separately. Hue actually changes the color tone and will shift it either in one direction or another. So we have it's a red squirrel, but if we want it to seem a lot more red, we can move it slightly more towards the reddish side. But you have to remember that all those orange tones are going to be changed as well. And the same with green. I tend to do this with green actually a bit. I like to have this slightly, I know, greener green, but a yellow green. And you can also do it with purples and blues and things like this. And it's just moving that color, just shifting that color slightly closer to the next tone. So with green, for example, you have this very sort of alien, vibrant green, all the way going to this more yellow green on this side here. And luminance is controlling the brightness of colors. So if we have to start with the orange again, because we have an orange little guy in front of us, if you pull this up, it's going to brighten all those orange tones. And the same as if you reduce them, it's going to darken all those orange tones. So that's the way that luminance works. Now, how useful is this? It's quite useful for a few things. If you want to have a very specific look in an image, for example, a strong blue sky, strong green fields and things, you can automatically set up these adjustments and save them, and then you can just import it in. It's great for when you have a portrait and you want to remove any sort of blotches from the skin. You can then just remove the reds you can remove the reds, and that will remove the reds from, the sort of, can help remove the blotchiness as well in the skin. One of the other great things that this has, it actually has a targeted adjustment just like in the curves. So for example, you'll actually see some very strange things going on. So if we click on a green, and as we move this up, you can see it's actually affected the yellows more than the green. And so when you do this, it will actually target the color exactly. And surprise, surprise, when we increase this orange of the squirrel, this is a lot. There's actually also a lot of yellow there as well. And so it's actually affecting two sides. If we click in here, this is orange and it is in here. I'm trying to find. Don't know if there's any aqua. No, I can't see any aqua. Okay, don't worry about that. So this picture is mainly the reds, the orange, the yellows, and the greens. The same can actually be done with the hues as well. And once again, you'll see that when you click on the orange here, this is only affecting the orange. This orange here is making that a little bit redder. And if we go here, it's now going to move in the opposite direction, but we also now got the yellow is being adjusted as well. Now he looks a bit more like a squirrel as you will expect to see him. A bit more red, a bit more punchy, and things like that. Luminance, with this picture I'm not really going to worry too much. I could darken it down. And actually that doesn't look too bad. But I could also play with the grass to create a little bit of contrast. And I can make the grass a little bit brighter as well. And that's really where we are with the HSL. Now if you click over the color, you can see that all the adjustments I've just made have been carried over. So the red saturation +3, HSL saturation red +3. And so when the color is literally all the exact same settings, but it's individually for each one. Now that's useful, but you have it all here anyway, so I don't really see what the need is for that. So if I have a quick look at my image, I'm quite happy with it. I know this is quite bright up here. I'm not so happy with the shadows so much, so we could just brighten the shadows a bit. Maybe actually go into here, find these shadows. Oh, it's just here. So actually, maybe don't have to, and we can just make that raise up, but also then pull that down slightly as well. And then I'll just increase the contrast just a tiny bit more. And there we go. So that's just using the HSL panel. And as I said, you as in everything within Lightroom, you can save it as a preset, and you save it for another picture if you want. I had a whole series of squirrel pictures, so I can just copy everything I've done here, have it as a preset and just apply it to everything, and it'll be a very quick and easy editing. So there you go, the HSL panel. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the next video, we'll be looking at black and white adjustments within Lightroom, which is something I know a lot of people really like to do. If you want to read the full blog post I wrote about using the HSL panel, you can do on my blog at aperture64.wordpress.com, and I'll put a link in the description to the exact page. Please remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye-bye.